Welcome to From Pain to Purpose. As always, what do? We are doing flow tapping, continuous tapping during this broadcast. And today we are looking at the struggles that you have experienced in your life. We will do some targeted tapping on healing your emotional or releasing your emotional attachment to the pain associated with what you have experienced in your life. Every single person on this planet goes through pain, goes through struggle, some obviously more than others. And just know that this life there's always some sort of pain, because pain is a part of our challenges here on the planet, is a part of our growth that our soul yearns. Our soul yearns for growth. And without pain, without struggle, without challenge, then we just stagnate. And that's pointless. So that is a pointless existence as a human being. So this is why it's important to embrace your challenges and your struggles, reframe them, look at them in a different context, because there's a great saying within the Buddhist philosophy, and that is that pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. So whilst we all experience our own pain and our own struggles within this life, you can choose whether or not you suffer or how long you suffer for. Of course, there is discomfort and dis-ease that happens within the body from time to time, and there are painful moments in our lives. But it depends on how you approach these things, on whether you endure long-term suffering, short-term suffering and pain. And it's up to you. And it's up to you to be very deliberate in what you focus on as to what you attract and what you experience in this life. So, as I said, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. What are you choosing? It's all a matter of choice. You get what you choose. You get what you focus on. So be more deliberate. If you don't like what's happening in your life right now, then be a lot more deliberate and discerning about what you focus on and what you choose to nurture in your life. So there's another great saying that there are two wolves living inside of us. This is an old Indian sort of tale, fable, whatever you want to call it. Son talking to his father, and the father says to the son, there are two wolves living inside of us. There is a dark and violent, aggressive wolf, and there is a good and kind wolf. And the son asks, well, which is the one that wins? And the father goes, the one that you feed. So which are you feeding in your life? So let's look at this. Now, before I continue, you can, if you don't want to tap on all the points, then you can tap on the ends of your fingers like this. It's incredibly effective. I don't think it's as effective as the full protocol, but, it depends where you are. Or if your arms get tired and you just want to not tap on your head and your body, you can tap on your fingers. You can drop down here and you can just tap down here. So, but I'm going to do this weird thing, and I'm going to tap on my face and my body while we work through this. We will at some point identify specific pains and struggles that you are still kind of anchored to through emotional attachment. And we'll tap on that as well to help to release and ease some of that attachment for you, right? So let's look first at the fact that pain is not the end of the story. It never is. And you can make it a part of your purpose. So how do you do that? Well, we'll go through step by step how to do that. So you can turn your pain into purpose. But as I said, every single person has experienced pain. And that comes with an emotional response, which could be grief, anger, sadness, frustration, disappointment, shame, guilt, anger, resentment, even feelings of revenge, and a whole spectrum of feelings that we have the privilege of feeling as human beings and as beings on this planet. Actually, I don't think that humans are the only ones who experience emotions. I have seen a range of emotions in my animals, and any animal. If you spend time with any animal, 5 minutes with any animal, you can witness a range of emotions in those animals. So, and it's how we process and respond to the situations and circumstances that have caused our reaction, because we also get to choose how we respond to situations. Okay. So some situation may immediately trigger an emotional response, but it's then up to you to process that emotion, to look at the situation and the circumstance, the person, the event, whatever it might be, when you're mature enough with an emotional intelligence to actually go through it and go, well, why am I feeling this particular emotion? Is it appropriate? Do I want to continue to experience this emotion? How else can I view this experience? What can I do with it? How can I respond to it in a way that something good can come of it? So, and this is all possible when you become more aware and you pay attention to what's going on internally. So many people are just charging through life, reacting to everything around them with zero self-control, with zero self-awareness, and all this blame. It's everything, everybody else's problem. It's this person's problem. It's that person's problem. It's or fault. It's the leader of the government's fault. It's the government's fault. It's my parents' fault. It's my neighbour's fault. It's my boss's fault. I know people who are victims. They are just victims of everything in their lives, and they are miserable AF. Now, when you can turn that around and take radical responsibility for what's going on in your life, it changes everything. I am not saying that you control the world. Far from it. Sometimes I wish I did control the world. No, that's way too much responsibility. No, scrap that. Take that back. I do not want to control the world. And I'm sure the world is in very good hands. God, you got this. So, but, and through my human lens, that would be highly inappropriate. So, however, you can't control everything that happens to you. You can't control everything that happens in the world. But you can choose how you respond to it in an appropriate way. Now, there's lots of darkness on this planet. You can keep fighting the darkness, or you can bring more light. So fighting what is just reinforces what is. Do you know this exercise? You keep tapping. I'm just going to do this. So I've got two hands together. I can push with equal and opposite force. And I can push harder and harder and harder. They ain't going anywhere. I relax one side of the equation. There's no resistance. It's gone. Same with your emotions. Now, that's not to say that everything will magically clear up on our planet that we want to clear up just because we stop resisting it. But what you resist persists. So stop fighting what is. Stop fighting the darkness. Bring more light. Darkness cannot exist where there is light. So bring more light. And look, pain develops us. Pain develops us. It develops our character, our traits, our characteristics, our strength, our courage, our conviction. So, who did this experience require you to become? Think of something that you still have emotional attachment to in your life. And think about who you were required to become as a result of going through that experience? How did you develop as a result of that experience? And if you're still going through it, how will you choose to develop as a result of that experience? Who will you choose to become as a consequence of this thing that happened to you? Now, another great thing of processing pain in this way, and the pain that and what we're talking about may have happened 10, 20, 30, 50, 60 years ago. You can still do this with anything that happened to you. So, and I like to think that life is not just happening to us, it is happening through us. And if we take that approach and we see everything through that lens, then that does not necessarily immediately expunge the pain, the suffering, the emotional distress. But if you give the event meaning and purpose and use it as a tool and a give it a meaning that you can become a better person as a consequence, that you can develop traits and characteristics and skills and knowledge as a consequence that drives you to be better, to do better, and even to help others who may have gone through a similar thing or maybe going through a similar thing, or maybe you can prevent them going through the same thing. Or maybe they've gone through the thing and you can help them to process the thing. There's all kinds of ways that you can use your pain and your suffering and give it meaning to help others on this planet. And it may not even be a painful experience. It may just be a frustrating experience that, you were building a business and you had all these problems and challenges and nobody helped you and you found a way through, and that path has led you on to greater and greater things. And now you can show somebody else the path so they don't have to go through all the crap that you went through. Do you see how any struggle that you have experienced, you can use as fuel, as momentum, as a guide and a path to show others? It does mean that you need to unpack what you did, how you did it, how it benefited you, what the pitfalls and downfalls were, what you did wrong that didn't work, what you did right that did work. You can be a lighthouse. Be a lighthouse. Turn your pain into a beacon of light for others. So, what lesson was life trying to teach you? What lesson was life trying to teach you? And if you don't believe that life is about lessons, what did you simply learn as a consequence? Where was the hidden secret and the hidden learning that came through that pain, through that struggle, through that suffering? Give it meaning. See, if pain and suffering is pointless, then that's a bit depressing. Like, if all pain is pointless, then why are we even here? Because let's face it, life is it's a series of challenges. You can call them pain and struggle, whatever. But some challenges are tougher than others. Some challenges cause us more emotional grief and distress than others. But life is a series of challenges. Now, if they are meaningless, what is the damn point in us being here? Give it meaning. Give it a purpose. And actually, I'll tell you very briefly that this topic that I'm talking about is coming because I was listening to the father. Forgive me, I've forgotten the father's name because this is an American event, and whilst I knew about it, I wasn't really paying that much attention. But a young boy was stabbed and died. It recently happened in the UK as well. But this was specifically at a track meet in America. And the young boy has been convicted. The young boy who killed the other lad has gone to jail. And there was an interview with the father. And the father was saying that he chose to forgive the young man. And he said he didn't forgive the young man for the young man's sake, because the young man still, there are still consequences for his actions, the one who went to jail and the one who killed his son. He forgave him for his own healing, for his own future well-being. And man, that takes courage. That takes massive courage. It takes a massive commitment to the internal work. And maybe he has to do that on a regular basis. I don't know. But he seemed quite calm and resolved. And he also said that he is considering starting a foundation in his son's name. So he's giving his son's death meaning. And he said that. He said, I don't want my son's death to be for nothing. So that's why I sort of, it's a pretty extreme example, but this happens. So instead of your pain being meaningless, your suffering being meaningless, take it and turn it into a purpose. So your experience can become somebody else's roadmap. How cool is that? So let me just, these are my notes, by the way, that I'm referring to over on the side over here. So it's important that you extract things like, who were you born to serve? As a consequence of what you've gone through, the struggles, the things that you've learned, the skills that you've developed, and they could be on all sorts of levels, emotional skills. They could be actual skills. They could be the expertise that you've developed and the knowledge that you've acquired and the understanding that you now have because of what you went through and how you navigated it, right? So who could benefit from all of that wisdom that you now have that you would not have had if you had not gone through what you... So, and then it's about, what identity have you adopted as a consequence? So there's multiple things here. Firstly, there are those who will adopt the victim identity. They're the victim. It's everybody else's fault. And woe is me. This happened because so and so and so and so and this thing and that, president and whatever caused this in my life. There's zero self-responsibility. There's zero responsibility. Now, if you give your power away to an external force and you're the victim, then you have no power in that relationship. None. Zero. How do you think that's going to work out? Not an incredibly empowering way to live life. And I know people who do that with everything in their life. Let me tell you, I do not spend a lot of time with those people because they're just miserable about everything. And they're constantly whinging and bitching and whining and complaining about every damn thing. It's like, well, okay, well, you're a joy to be around. Not? And then guess what? Shit keeps happening to them. So what can you create as a result of what you went through? What changes can you make in the world? How can you help others? What identity do you choose to adopt? The victor or the victim? Up to you. Everything happens as a consequence of the choices that you make on the back of any experience, any event. It's not what happens to you, it's what you do with it. It's how you frame it. It's how you look at it. That changes the ultimate outcome and changes how you ultimately live your life. Be the victor. Let me tell you, be the victor. Damn it. Do not be the victim. Because victims just keep being victims to every damn thing. So when you give it meaning, it doesn't change what happens, but it does actually influence the memory of it. So there are things that happened in my life when I was a kid and I was bullied at school that impacted a lot of my life. But I don't see myself as the victim. I see that as I was a very, very, very soft girl, wimpy. It's not a judgment or a criticism, but I was very soft as a kid. I was not prepared for some of the cruelty and the brutality of this world. And some of the bullying that I went through toughened me up a bit. I had to toughen up a bit, and that was essential if I was going to navigate this life. And it gave me more understanding and empathy for others who have gone through something similar. And it gave me a sense of conviction. Ultimately, took me a while to get there, but that I was never going to be bullied or shouted down or made to feel powerless ever again. Like, no, you do not get to do that to me ever. Now, that comes through experience. That doesn't happen or develop because you're just born with it. I guess some people are born with certain characteristics that I wasn't born with. But I had to go through that to become the person I am today. To go, no, I'm not going to put up with your crap. So, all right, let's look at the particular thing that you might have gone through that you still have an emotional reaction or emotional response to. And there's no shame in that, by the way, because our emotions and our emotion responses to things and our conditioning is hardwired into our brain, particularly things like trauma and painful experiences. Because what does the subconscious lock onto? What is the subconscious purpose? What is the subconscious's purpose? The subconscious's purpose is to keep you safe and to reinforce the old belief, to prove you right. So if you experience something where you didn't feel safe physically, mentally, emotionally, then the subconscious processes that in is danger. This is dangerous. We will not put ourselves back in this situation because it's not safe. And I mean, the classic example is the child with a hot stove. The child puts its hand on a hot stove as a young child. The hand gets burnt. That hurts. The subconscious goes, oh, hot stove. That hurts. We're not doing that again. So this process is extremely beneficial. Otherwise, humanity would have not have survived for thousands, tens of thousands of years, however long we've survived on this planet, particularly such a brutal and harsh planet. We would never have survived if we didn't have that process, right? So it's hardwired into our brain. But when it comes to relationships and emotions and fear of success, fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of humiliation and judgment and criticism, fear that something's going to go wrong, fear that we're not good enough, shame and guilt, and all the stuff that we just pile on, then ultimately that stuff doesn't really serve us going forward. So choose the event or the circumstance that you went through that you still have an emotional attachment to. And tap with me. Just tap with me. Start by tapping on the side of the hand and repeat after me. Even though this was really painful and it still hurts when I think about it, and it still makes me afraid to face something like that again, I deeply and completely love and accept all of me. Even though that was really uncomfortable and it really hurt, and I never want to go through that again. In fact, I will do anything to avoid it. I deeply and completely love and accept all of me. Even though that hurts so badly, that I have done anything and everything to ensure I never put myself in that position ever again. I deeply and completely love and accept all of me right now. Okay, tapping through the points, starting with the inside of the eye. This pain, this hurt, this sadness, this distrust. I felt betrayed. I felt so small. I felt powerless. I felt really betrayed. It hurt really badly. I felt sad. I felt angry. And I've been carrying these emotions for so long. I'm ready to release them now because I know they no longer serve me. I learned what I needed to learn. And I've developed as a consequence of what happened. I destroy, uncreate, and delete my emotional attachment to what happened. I destroy, uncreate, and delete holding on to the feeling that I attached to what happened. I destroy, uncreate, and delete my emotional response to what happened. I transmute, transform, and transcend all negative emotions that happened around this event. I transmute, transform, and transcend all emotions attached to this event. I acknowledge that it hurt. It was actually really very painful. And I acknowledge that carrying that pain does not serve me. I choose to know it's safe to release all those emotions now. I choose to know it's safe to heal now. I choose to be okay, even though it happened. I choose to know I am safe. I choose to recognize that I'm okay. I learned a valuable lesson. I developed valuable traits and characteristics. That event shaped me in ways that I would never have developed if not for that event. I have coping mechanisms and strategies and wisdom and knowledge. I have understanding and compassion. And I'm still here. It did not break me. And I can help others as a result. Because it gave me power. I choose to extract purpose and power from this event. I choose to find meaning and wisdom and apply it to helping others. So this event is not meaningless. I'm a different person because of that event. I'm a better, stronger person because of that event. If I can get through that, I can get through anything. I choose to give this meaning. And I choose to release all my emotional attachment to the event, to what happened. So it doesn't keep dragging me down. So it doesn't keep sabotaging my future. So it doesn't impact my decisions in a negative way. I choose to be stronger. I choose to be better. I choose to have more courage and conviction because of what happened. And I choose to seek ways I can help others. So it doesn't have to be so hard for them. So as you're tapping, I want you to think about what happened. What are the ways that it affected you and impacted you? What are the valuable lessons you learned as a consequence? Who did it help you become? And who can learn from those lessons, from the skills, from the knowledge, from the wisdom, from the strategies, from the coping mechanisms? Who can benefit from your pain, from your suffering, from your struggle? Turn your mess into your message, turn your pain into purpose. And there's a gazillion ways you can do that. And that pain and that wisdom becomes your service to others, your service to others on this planet. So I've just got a few more things to share with you. You can do this with all kinds of different things in your life. I like this. I worked with ChatGPT on this yesterday. So pain is what happened to you. Healing is what happened within you. Wisdom is what you learned because of it. Purpose is what you choose to do with that wisdom. And legacy is the lives transformed because you refused to let your pain be wasted. That's a valuable reframe right there. So your past does not define you. Your experiences do not define you. You define you. Actually, nothing defines you except what you choose defines you. And if you do not choose for your past pain to define you, then it cannot. If you choose courage and wisdom and empathy and strength and kindness and understanding and compassion, if those are the things that you choose as a consequence of whatever happened to you to shape you, then that is who you will become. So who will you become as a consequence of reframing this pain, this struggle, this situation, and turning it into your purpose? And what legacy will you leave as a result? So I think I'm going to leave it there. This is a big topic. I know it's a big topic. And if there's something really traumatic that you've been through, please don't face this on your own. If you are still struggling with something that was really traumatic and really painful, tapping's amazing. And I encourage you to tap on anything and everything. But sometimes there's stuff that's going on inside of it that's just too big to do alone. So find somebody who you trust or a practitioner who you trust to work through with this stuff with, because the relief when you release the emotional burden, you can't change what happened, but you can release the emotional burden, the emotional attachment. That's why tapping is so incredibly powerful. You can release the emotional attachment to things so they no longer drive your choices, your decisions, your fear, your anxiety, your stress, your worry, your concern. And that's freedom. That is freedom. So I do hope that you have benefited from this today. I am doing very well. Thank you, Jennifer. I'm glad you enjoyed this. If you have enjoyed it, then do me a favor, like and subscribe, comment below, and let me know what your biggest takeaway is from this and how you're going to turn your pain into your purpose. And if you would like to join me on my wealth breakthrough coaching experience, that is entirely free. I'm doing that a week from tomorrow. So if you would like to register for that, the link is already in the description, and I will make sure that it's there, and I will put it as the top comment once I am done today. So come and join me. It's free. It's actually a coaching experience where I will work with people in the hot seat on the call to help you to clear whatever is holding you back. So I hope to see you on that call. I will be back again next week with more tapping. Until next time, take care. Be amazing. Don't let anything or anyone hold you back, because you are infinitely powerful and you have the ability to achieve anything you put your mind to. I believe in you. Have a great weekend. Cheers.